The good, the bad, and the ugly, and there was plenty ugly, but it doesn't matter because Tennessee found a way to win at Mississippi State. It's your Monday Takes right here on Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good Monday morning, everybody. Welcome into it. This is Locked On Vols. I am your host, Cain. Appreciate you guys for being here, making this a part of your morning routine. Your first listen, your first watch each and every single morning. We're a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every single day. And today's episode is brought to you in part by our friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook. Customers can bet just $5. New customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You can download the app today. That's FanDuel Sportsbook. Tennessee wins 41-34 in overtime on the road at Mississippi State. Had a reaction podcast late on a Saturday night. You probably listened to it on Sunday. But it's been out there if you want to get some raw reactions before the rewatch, before we really dove down into the stat sheets and went back and watched a bunch of the critical plays. That's up on the feed right now, YouTube channel, and of course, wherever you listen to your podcast, free and available. That is Locked On Vols each and every single morning. I appreciate you guys for being here. We're going to continue to look back on the win for Tennessee. Pro Football Focus stats that matter coming up later in the show. Segment number 3, going to talk about the big moments from this football game, the defense, the good and the bad, because there was a lot of good defensively, right? You look at the scoreboard and it says 34 points. You think, the defense was awful. Obviously, a lot of good from the defense in this football game. We'll hit on that. Talk about the special teams. There was not a lot of good in that regard. Talk about Joey Aguilar, how I have upset a lot of people apparently because I said that I guess it was in the 2-minute drill over Volquez that he had a so-so game. I guess I meant stat-wise. I don't know. I mean, I thought he was fine. Did I think Joey Aguilar had his best game of his career? Absolutely not. Do I think his stat line could have been so much better if not for the bogus phantom OPI call that wiped off a touchdown and Mike Matthews dropping in what would have been a house call? Absolutely. He missed some throws, but gosh, man, Joey Aguilar was good on that last drive, and he was Tennessee's so fortunate to have him, man. It's incredible. Tennessee is very, very fortunate to have Joey Aguilar, and he has been a really, really good quarterback, and he had some really good moments the other night. Again, I point you to that last drive where he went 6 for 6 for 54 yards. Capped it off with not the last drive of regulation, I guess. The last drive before the clock management malfu. The one where they tied it up 34-all, right? He was phenomenal on that drive. And Chris Brazzell had a phenomenal fourth down catch, and Aguilar capped it off with a 6-yard touchdown run where there was some really, really good blocking in front of him. So we're going to talk about all that, kind of go back and relive what is a good win, right? I mean, is Mississippi State a world beater? No, I don't think so. I'm intrigued to see how good Mississippi State is throughout the rest of the year. Obviously, like we talked about last week, Mississippi State is so much improved. That's evident. Jeff Lebby's a good coach, knows what he's doing. In this league, all that matters is that you get a win on the road. Okay, you had Kirby Smart that came in to Neyland Stadium a couple weeks ago, and in a post-game press conference, he said, we didn't deserve to win. But the most important thing is that we did win. And that's how you should handle road football games, right? Tennessee hurt itself all day long on Saturday. I mean, continuously tried to lose this football game so many different times, so many different ways. Yet, what's unlike Arkansas 2024 or Columbia, Missouri 2023 or South Carolina 2022 or multiple Florida games over the years, Tennessee found a way on Saturday, and that's the most important thing. Tennessee's 4-1, heading into a bye week that you need desperately. Need to rest, regroup, get healthy, okay? But Tennessee got that dub on the road in this league, and that is the most important thing. Let's go ahead and start with, I wrote a column on Sunday, as I always do. I call it Sunday 4 Takes. And let's kind of break down the sections that I wrote about, following this game. Let's start with the big moments. Again, Tennessee was not at its best team-wide on Saturday, but massive, massive moments were key, and Tennessee took advantage of these moments, and it's the reason Tennessee won the football game. Let's start with the sudden change. It's funny, I'm sitting there watching, and Tennessee gives up yet another special teams mishap, if you will. It's a fake punt. Mississippi State is on its own side of the 50. I forgot specifically where it was, probably around the 35, 40-yard line. And Tennessee's defense made a stop. Going out to punt, and it's like 4th and 7. And they fake it, and they get a gain of 15. The drive continues. And I'm looking down there at the field, and they call it sudden change for a reason, why it's so important, how you have to get locked in. It's difficult, right? You have the entire defense for the most part over there, defensive line over here, linebackers over here, DBs over here, helmets off, looking at the tape, talking with their coaches and all that, fully dialed in to recapping what just happened on the field and getting ready for the next time they go out there. They say, sudden change, or, defense, get back on the field, and you just have to quit what you're doing, throw on the helmet, and run back out there. And slowly but surely, 2 or 3 defenders came out on the field, and then they're yelling at the sideline, come on, guys. Sudden change is difficult. And I looked at, I think it was either, I was sitting with Austin and Grant, and I think it was Austin. I said, sudden change is important. Let's see how they respond right here. And boy, did they respond. This team has been very good in sudden change. Remember back at the Syracuse game when Tennessee turned the football over and Tennessee immediately got the scoop and score touchdown? That was big, right? And Tennessee had a turnover in that Syracuse game that led to a Joey Aguilar throwing touchdown to Star Thomas there in the second half, third quarter. Tennessee's been pretty good on sudden change this year, and they were phenomenal in this instance, right? So you just give up a fake punt for a first down, and the defense comes out there again, and it's Tyree West, Joshua Joseph, a meeting in the backfield. Tyree West with the hit, ball falls loose, 41-yard scoop and score. Joshua Joseph's into the end zone. Tennessee takes the lead in the fourth quarter, 27-24. What a play. What a play off sudden change. What a moment in this football game, right? Hats off to the defense. Hats off to those guys up front who, in terms of pass rush, played a phenomenal football game. Tennessee, I will get to this here in a moment, but Tennessee had 5 sacks, 11 TFLs. All 5 sacks contributed by the guys up front. Tyree West was a menace. Joshua Joseph was everywhere. Caleb Herring had a good game. It was Tyree West and Joshua Joseph that combined for that play. Huge play in that football game, and that was off sudden change that gave Tennessee the lead back, in the fourth quarter. Another big-time moment in this game, obviously, was the that drive where they tied it up 34-34. Aguilar was 1 for 6 with at least an interception, I believe, so far in the fourth quarter, leading up to that drive. He goes 6 for 6 in the air, 54 yards. The 4th and 4 to Chris Brazzell was a ball that was thrown behind him. He goes up there, gets it, tips it to himself. Chains move. What a play by Chris Brazzell on 4th and 4. The 3rd and 6 to Braylon Staley there. He caught it in front of the sticks, muscled his way for the first down to keep the drive alive. Braylon Staley, obviously, we'll get to it here in a moment, did not have a good game. That was a massive play from Braylon Staley on that drive. Aguilar 6-yard touchdown sweep to the right off 12 personnel. That's why I love when they call the quarterback's number in the red zone. I love that. David Sanders, who made his debut on that drive, had a false start earlier in the drive where they had to mark it back a little bit, which was unfortunate. But David Sanders on that touchdown play slipped up, got a linebacker. They did 12 personnel with the two tight ends as H-backs in the backfield. Miles Kiltzman handled the end man on the line of scrimmage. Jack Van Dorselaer blocked the linebacker. DeSean Bishop blocked another linebacker, leading the way. Textbook teach tape. Really good play. Blocked up very, very well. And then obviously the overtime run for DeSean Bishop, right? Number 1 play in overtime, 25 yards of the house. Again, it was freshman Jack Van Dorselaer. A great block to spring Bishop, who had one-on-one with the linebacker. He ran through the tackle, and it was a house call. So, those were some big-time moments in that football game. Obviously, Colton Hood, the pick 6, that was a big-time moment as well. Despite not playing its A game, despite not having its fastball in this football game, Tennessee rose to the occasion in these big moments. And I thought that was really, really noteworthy. One other thing I'll hit on in this segment before we continue on with some of my big thoughts from this football game. Defense good, defense bad. We'll start with the bad. And Tennessee's not been defending the run very well. Tennessee struggled defending the run against the running back against Syracuse, if not for sacks. Tennessee had 93 yards rushing at the end of that game given up, but it was because of sacks. Fluff Bothwell really had Tennessee's number through the first 3 quarters. He had 134 yards on the day. It felt like Tennessee missed so many more tackles than the 13 that Pro Football Focus said that Tennessee missed. Tennessee couldn't stop the run. In fact, it was 198 yards, and that includes sacks given up, so they actually gained over 200, right? But Tennessee was not defending the run very well. But then the fourth quarter happened, and then overtime happened, where Tennessee allowed just 28 yards on the ground. So Tennessee's defense rose to the occasion when it mattered in the fourth quarter and in overtime to not let the run or Fluff Bothwell beat them. I thought that was really, really important. Certainly, got to defend on the run. You got to set the edges better. Where the defensive line, specifically the edges, the ends, the Leos, were so good rushing the passer. Really got to set the edge. Linebackers got to come down, set the edge. Secondary guys got to come down, second the edge. Force things inside where your help is. That's continued to be a work in progress for sure. But again, you had 2 touchdowns. Colton Hood, pick 6, phenomenal. We just went over the Tyree West strip sack fumble. Joshua Joseph scoop and score 41 yards. 5 sacks, 11 TFLs. Outside of a play or a drive where they had 4 third down conversions on a 15-play touchdown drive in the first quarter. I thought Tennessee's defense third down was okay for the most part, but that drive was really, really bad. So, again, this is a defense to where it's not going to be what it was last year, right? The eliteness. But this is a defense just like the Syracuse game, right? Mississippi State, Syracuse, like shaking hands, right? Give up some plays, give up some points, but go sack the quarterback, tackle the ball carrier in the backfield, and force turnovers and cash in on those turnovers. 1 touchdown defensively against Syracuse, 2 touchdowns defensively for Tennessee. I mean, again, like what more can you ask for? Tennessee scored 14 points on defense. So I get it. 34 points doesn't look good. Overall in the football game, Tennessee allowed just like 300 and I've got it right here. Sorry. Let's see. Overall in the football game, Tennessee allowed 378 yards because Mississippi State scored on short fields. I had this note as well somewhere. Mississippi State scored on drives of 20 yards, 26 yards, and 17 yards. It's hard for me to put that on the defense, right? So sure, the defense slipped up in some areas, but the defense also rose the occasion in a lot of areas, and that's some of my big takeaways. In real time, sure, but certainly on the rewatch. We'll continue to give into my Monday takes here on this Monday morning Locked On Vols. Don't forget Twitter Tuesdays tomorrow, mailbag edition of the show. Any questions you have, concerns, love to hear them. I'd love to answer those on the show tomorrow here at Locked On Vols, @_Cainer, and at Locked On Vols. When we come back, we'll take a look at the clock management and some other areas where Tennessee found a way to win in this football game. All that and more coming up next right here on Locked On Vols. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-hour energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. What I love most about these 5-hour energy shots are how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get the boost when you need it. I've been, there's so many selections in terms of like what flavor fits you the best. I like this flavor. This flavor is okay, but I really like this flavor. And I've been mixing and matching here lately to find the flavors that I love. Honestly, I love how fast it kicks in as well, and it's sugar-free. So again, I don't have to worry about crashing later. Enough with the boring, flavorless coffee or caffeine. It's time to give in to your caffeine with a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites that you love or be bold and try something new in store or online at 5hourenergy.com. The number 5hourenergy.com. You can buy it there or on Amazon as well. That is 5-Hour Energy. All right, so we talked about some big moments in this football game. We talked about some big takeaways defensively as well, right? Those were a lot of positives. I do want to, because I try to be objective and I try to, call what I see, right? There was a lot in this football game that wasn't good. There was a lot in this football game that Tennessee can watch on tape, learn, put it to practice on the practice field, and hopefully correct those mistakes moving on throughout the season with Arkansas coming to town, then hitting the road for back-to-back road tilts in Tuscaloosa and at Kentucky. And, of course, we know Oklahoma here. We'll see what John Mateer's looking like, New Mexico State. There's another home game that I'm forgetting. No, I guess it's at Florida, then Vanderbilt. So, anyway, needless to say, there's a lot of season left, but you can correct some of these things and hopefully not commit so many of these errors moving forward. And unfortunately, there was a lot of errors that were committed on special teams. Special teams were anything but, essentially, on Saturday. And usually when you drop an egg, right, on special teams the way Tennessee did, you have to like, something incredible has to happen. It's like scoring 2 touchdowns defensively or completely dominating offensively, scoring 50 to 60 points or something. I mean, what Tennessee gave up special teams wise was not good. Obviously, Tennessee started Braylon Staley at punt return. I know that aggravated a lot of fans, and the plan backfired, okay? Boo Carter muffed a punt in each of his last 2 games entering this football game. He also returned one of 34 yards to set up a score against UAB, right? I mean, we know how electric Boo Carter is with the football in his hands. it was by design. We asked Josh Heupel post-game. It was by design. They went with Braylon Staley. That decision backfired, okay? And Braylon Staley, again, not his best game. Muffs the first punt that sets up one of those short touchdown scoring drives for Mississippi State. And then the second punt that he's back there for, he lets the ball roll all the way to the 1. Obviously, that can't happen. That just cannot happen. I mean, special teams, it gave him a touchdown, and then it if not for a drive that sustained a little bit, could have seriously impacted field position for the rest of the half. But Tennessee was able to get a drive going a little bit and kind of get out of that back on the 1 yard line hole. So that was unfortunate. Okay, so I kind of understand the move. I'm not saying I would have done it because, again, Boo Carter's so electric. I think he can impact the football game back there. But again, muffing a punt in each of the past 2 games, like I understand why they looked in a different direction to begin this football game, but also it did backfire. I mean, it backfired in a bad way. So obviously the punt return issues were paramount in this game, and it really, really did not help Tennessee for sure. Go to Max Gilbert. Max Gilbert missed a 47-yard field goal. Obviously, he's got plenty of leg. I mean, that could have been good from 55 yards. He just pushed it, or not. I guess he pulled it left, I guess. Tennessee was trying to win the middle 8. He did kick 2 of 3. He made 2 of 3 field goals, 38 yards and 27 yards. Hit all of his PATs, but that 47-yard field goal missed when Tennessee was trying to win the middle 8 there heading into the halftime break. And then also, as I mentioned earlier, Tennessee allowed a fake punt to gain a 15 yards on pitching it to the up back or direct snap to the up back on a 4th and 7, and that's not great. So special teams overall, not a good day, and that's unfortunate. But again, in years past, Tennessee's lost the special teams battle and lost the game, but Tennessee found a way to overcome that. Again, the sudden change, scoop and score touchdown defensively, really picked up the defensive laps, or the special teams laps there in one of those shortcomings. Let's talk about clock management. This one, depending on who you talk to, is going to have a lot of strong beliefs about it, right? We all think we're the coach, and we all think we make great decisions. I'll just put this out there. First and foremost, I did not agree with the clock management there on that last drive in the fourth quarter. I didn't. Look at what Mississippi State did prior, though. Mississippi State, running a similar offense, went 3 and out, barely took any time off the clock. They had three incompletions, and were forced to turn it back to Tennessee, punt it back to Tennessee with 3 timeouts and 1:23 left on the clock, starting up shop at your own 26, I believe. So obviously, if you're Tennessee, you didn't want to do that because they also had 3 timeouts. So you wanted to take some clock. But in my opinion, you can't even necessarily worry about that. You got to go score. You got to go try to win the football game. And that's kind of where my mindset is. So Tennessee starts at the 26-yard line, and they manage just 30 yards on 7 plays, starting that drive with all 3 timeouts. Tennessee started the drive with 1:23 on the clock, okay? Gained a couple yards on play 1, but snapped the football for play 2 of the drive with less than 10, I think it was 9 seconds left on the play clock. They ran that sucker down to about 9 seconds on the play clock, snapped the football. They had a first down throw to Miles Kitselman that followed up to the 42 with 35 seconds left on the game clock. Okay, so you made it to the 42-yard line with just 35 seconds left on the game clock. Before the ball was snapped again. Aguilar then ran for close to a first down, got over the 50 at the plus 49, staying in bounds. Instead of going out of bounds, you had 3 timeouts, so I guess that's not that big of a deal, but he did stay in bounds. Finally, you call your first timeout at 24 seconds. So, coming out of the timeout, Tennessee took a shot, and it was a good shot, a good play. Okay, the defender got a hand in there and swatted that ball loose, and Braylon Staley over the middle. That was a heck of a defensive play. So, Tennessee took the shot there. Now it's 3rd and 1 at the plus 44. You've got, or the plus, it's 3rd and 1 at the plus 49. You got to secure a new set of downs, right? You only have 24 seconds left. DeSean Bishop takes the football, gets up to the 44, gets the first down, but Tennessee did not call a timeout. Remember, clock stops whenever you move the chains, but as soon as the ball is set, the clock rolls. So I thought, okay, sure, you move everything, clock stop. As soon as the ball is set, they're going to spike it, or they're going to call a timeout. See, I think that's where you really mismanage things. Okay, so you've got Bishop got its plus 44, 3rd and 1. The ball was snapped at 24 seconds. You didn't call a timeout. So Aguilar is then trying to throw incomplete pass, and there's only 4 seconds left on the game clock. From there, all you can do is one final heave to the end zone. Obviously, it came up short. So, in my opinion, from my vantage point, again, I'm not a coach. Josh Heupel looked like he was calling that last drive with like he had no timeouts. He had 3. He called 1, but you can't carry those over, right? And so I did not like how that last series was managed. I don't think that they had a clear understanding of kind of what they wanted to do. He said post-game, when asked about why you didn't call a timeout when DeSean Bishop got the first down on 3rd and 1, he said, quote, Josh Heupel, we actually had the second play ready to go with time on the clock, whether it was right or wrong, with 2 timeouts, being able to get out quick and burn it. He said we had the second play ready to go, which was the pass play. That's why I didn't use it there. With the time that it ended up, probably would have been right to call a timeout. So Joey scrambles around on that play, burns the clock. So, okay, I didn't think that was a great reasoning, but that's what Josh Heupel said after the game. Also, let's not forget, setting up the drive, Boo Carter ran around from when he caught it. I looked at the game tape. From when he caught the snap, the punt, he wasted 9 seconds, gaining only 1 yard. And again, like, I'm not going to fault them too bad there because, like, I like Boo to try to go make a play, but those were valuable seconds that you lost all for 1 yard. 1 yard on the return. I don't get it. It's not as big of an issue because Tennessee won the game, but obviously it was very curious. It was very interesting. A lot of fans weren't happy with it. That was a storyline for this football game, mismanaging the clock there, or the decision to manage it the way you did on that last series of regulation. I asked Josh Heupel about right before halftime, right? I mean, there was 4th and 2 from their own 32 or whatever, this being Mississippi State, and Tennessee had 1 timeout, and they let 40 seconds roll off the clock before I think they took Mississippi State took a timeout, but they let all the clock roll down there, and I'm just sitting there like, why on earth do you not call a timeout and stop the clock that way to kind of set yourself up, take a few shots? And Josh Heupel essentially said, I'm paraphrasing here, okay? He pretty much just said he didn't want to call a timeout to give them the opportunity to think about going for it on 4th down because it was 4th and 2. They were backed up. I don't think they were going to do that. But also, they were just ready to get into the half, right? Defense had been out there for a lot. They were getting the ball back at half. They were content with going to the halftime break. I don't necessarily agree with all that, but I respect that decision, right? I mean, okay, I get it. I don't quite understand the clock management there at the end of regulation. But again, it's not as big of a deal because Tennessee goes out there and wins that football game. You had opportunities on that last drive, in my opinion, with all those timeouts, but Tennessee ended up finishing the job. But obviously, it is worth noting for sure, and I had to write about it a little bit because I thought it was very. I was perplexed, and I think many others were as well. But we know what happened after that. Tennessee goes. I forgot to mention this in the big play, right? Tennessee goes to overtime. Play number 1 of overtime. 25 yards to DeSean Bishop. Jack Van Dorselaer again has the block on the linebacker. DeSean Bishop makes the linebacker, makes him miss one-on-one. It was off to the races. So that was a really, really cool moment as Tennessee secured the win in overtime. And Arion Carter coming off his man to bat that ball down on 4th and goal there to end the game. That was really, really cool there to see by Arion Carter. Arion Carter, who finished the game with, what was it, guys? 17 tackles? 17 tackles. 1 pass breakup. Arion Carter had a pretty good game on the box score. So anyway, those are some of my thoughts. Love to hear from you guys at _Cainer at Locked On Vols. Tennessee got the win. That's the most important thing. You never and I said this on Saturday's show, right? You never apologize for winning, especially on the road, right? Was it pretty? No. Did you play your best football? Far from it. Did you do what it took to find a win, to put yourself in the win column? Yeah, you did. And Tennessee is now 4-1 heading into the bye week instead of 3-2 with really absolutely no more wiggle room left. Like if Tennessee were to have dropped this game, there's no wiggle room in terms of the college football playoff because I don't know if a team, and maybe, last year it showed us 9-3 from the SEC does not get you in the 12-team playoff. Maybe that changes this year, but you got to win. You have another game to where you can hiccup potentially, but it really. You did yourself a favor there by finding ways to win, and that's what Tennessee did right there. All right, when we come back, let's take a look at Pro Football Focus, some of the stats that matter, snap counts, coverage grades, all that and more. That is coming up next as we continue on here on this Monday morning, Locked On Vols. One of the tools that makes a huge difference for business owners is Quo, formerly Open Phone. It's the same great business phone systems that you've heard me talk about before, just with the new name. And here's why it matters. Every missed call is money left on the table. When every customer's conversation counts, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. Quo is #1 business phone system that streamlines customer communications. It works right through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying two phones or relying on a landline. I love Quo, formerly known as Open Phone. Lets your team share one number and collaborate on calls, on text, like a shared inbox, so no customer gets left hanging. Whether you're a solo operator, juggling everything, or part of a larger corporation team, Quo makes it easy to stay responsive and professional. See why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly Open Phone. Get started today, get started free, and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/lockedoncollege. That is Quo, QUO.com/lockedoncollege. And if you've got existing numbers with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. FanDuel Sportsbook, the NFL season is here. We had a great Sunday yesterday watching NFL once I got back in town from Starkville. FanDuel has an offer that you don't want to miss this NFL season. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love FanDuel because it gives me so many different ways to play. I build parlays, I try player props, even follow the live lines during those games, like last night on Sunday Night Football, right? It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on that action. So, what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Safe, secure, easy to use app. FanDuel.com to check it all out. FanDuel, it's where you can make every moment more. All right, guys, we got a couple of minutes left. Went a little bit overboard talking about some of my big takeaways from the football game on Saturday. Tennessee 41-34 in overtime against Mississippi State. Let's take a look at some of the Pro Football Focus grades that actually matter. If you're new to Pro Football Focus, again, take the grading scale, take the grades with, however you want to. I personally don't know if whoever's making these specific grades know what each individual assignment is. So, I don't put too much stock in the grades, but the coverage stuff, the snap counts, the missed tackles, that's all very useful to me. But the grading scale does look like this. 90 to 99 is elite. 80 to 89 is very good. Average starter. Above average starter is 70 to 79. Average starter, 60 to 69. Always throws me off because that was an F growing up, but that's an average starter, 60 to 69. Below average starter is 50 to 59, and below 50 is considered a backup level player. Tyree West, who played 29 snaps, had the highest grade on Tennessee's defense at 90.3. Boo Carter had the second highest grade of 81. He played in 31 snaps. Jalen McMurray, 56 snaps, had 79. I thought Jalen McMurray had a fine day at the office. Arion Carter, in the 17 tackles, played 65 snaps, 73. Caleb Herring, 27 snaps, had back-to-back sacks on 2 plays there in that first half, 72. Some other good grades, I'm not going to go read them all. Tennessee had, how many players? Tennessee played 26 players on defense. Colton Hood had 87 snaps. Joshua Joseph played 42 snaps. Dominic Bailey played 55 snaps. Edwin Spillman, 48 snaps. Ty Redmond, 83 snaps. Bryce Neeson, 55 snaps. Dominic Bailey, 55 snaps. Andre Turrenton, 79 snaps. Jordan Ross, who I thought played well, 24 snaps. Good to see him playing. Isaiah Campbell played more in this game. He's moving on up the depth chart a little bit. 19 snaps for the freshman Isaiah Campbell. 80 snaps for Idris Farouk at safety. Caleb Beasley, only 8 snaps. Sidney Walton, 7 snaps. Got in there a little bit, but he and Caleb Beasley only played, looks like a series, really. William Wright got in there a little bit, played 4 snaps at corner. Jackson Moy made his return, and he played 44 snaps. I thought that was big for the defensive line. Ethan Utley played 3 snaps. Jeremiah Thielander played 40 snaps. Jordan Burns played 13 snaps. That was kind of a surprise. And Nathan Robinson played 28 snaps on the defensive line. Let's look at pass coverage. Boo Carter was targeted 4 times, gave up 1 reception for 6 yards, and so that was a pretty good day. Jalen McMurray was targeted 4 times, gave up 6 receptions for 8 yards, and yeah, so I mean that's not that bad. Ty Redmond targeted 5 times, gave up 3 receptions for 36 yards. Colton Hood targeted 3 times, gave up 3 receptions for 24 yards and a touchdown, did Colton Hood. Although, I'm not sure about that. Oh, they're not talking about the one that was a bust. Okay, I think that was on Andre Turrentine. Arian Carter targeted 5 times, gave up 3 receptions for 34 yards. Andre Turrentine, I guess they didn't credit to him, targeted 3 times, gave up 3 receptions for 61 yards and not a touch. See, again, this is where it's bad because they're talking about the bust. But he fell. Yeah, he didn't score. That was Aiden Williams. He didn't score. That's right. So they did credit that to Andre Turrentine. Okay, because it's 61 yards. Sorry, I'm talking through this. Edwin Spillman targeted 1 time, gave up 1 reception for 11 yards. So not horrible on the day. It's not too bad. Let's look at offense, shall we, real quick? Tennessee only played 17 players on offense. Joey Aguilar had the highest grade at Pro Football Focus. And again, I thought anybody watching the game, I would not consider that his best game. Certainly would not consider that a bad game. I mean, Joey Aguilar continues to put Tennessee in positions to win. He continues to make plays, and no one's ever going to play perfect. Man, did he step up on that final drive after kind of having a rough fourth quarter. I mean, he had a rough fourth quarter. He threw 2 picks. I would argue with you those should have been caught, okay? A bigger conversation here. He's thrown 5 picks on the season. I mean, we're nitpicking here, but 2 yesterday or two on Saturday, you can argue those should have been caught, even though he said the ball placement wasn't good, and that's what any quarterback would do. He'd take ownership of it. One against Georgia, Braylon Staley fell. The other against Georgia, he just slung it up. It was kind of like an arm punt. And then one last week, the ball was Chris Brazzell was being interfered with, and the ball was up in the air for 30 seconds. So really, if we're nitpicking here, maybe you could say one of those interceptions was his fault. I don't know, but I'm just saying, his interceptions have not derailed Tennessee whatsoever. He threw 2 yesterday, gave up short fields. It was unfortunate, but again, I think those should have been caught, to be honest with you. But Joey Aguilar had an 86.6 Pro Football Focus grade. He played 74 snaps. Chris Brazzell, 71 snaps, 72%. Sam Pendleton, the starting offensive line, minus Jesse Perry, played 74 snaps. Jesse Perry played 63 snaps. He had to be helped off the field, but he came back in the overtime possession, which I thought was, man, I didn't think he was going to come back in. That meant David Sanders got in for 11 snaps. He was he had a key block on that touchdown run for Joey Aguilar, so that was good to see him make his debut. Miles Kitselman played 73 snaps. Braylon Staley, 70 snaps. Jack Van Dorsler, only 6 snaps. He had a big impact. He had some critical blocks there, big-time blocks late in that football game. Made the most of only his 6 snaps. Peyton Lewis had 9 snaps. I thought Peyton Lewis had a big whiff. Big-time whiff that got Aguilar sacked one time. That was not great to see. DeSean Bryant got in one time. I didn't know that. One snap. So, anyway, the only 17 players played on offense. Let's take a look at the passing, the pressures and all that. Joey Aguilar in the football game on balls down the field, he was 2 of 5 for 71 yards. Should have been 3 of 5 for 130 yards and a touchdown, but Mike Matthews dropped that, which was unfortunate. He was 7 of 9 intermediate, 10 to 19 yards with a touchdown. He was 8 of 14 within 10 yards, and he was 10 of 7 behind the line of scrimmage. Joey Aguilar was kept clean on 70% of his dropbacks. He was under pressure on 30% of his dropbacks. They only blitzed him 30 times, and when they did blitz him, man, look at these numbers. He was 13 of 14 for 149 yards, and he did throw an interception. So the one incompletion was an interception when he was being blitzed. Still some pretty impressive numbers. He completed 82% of his passes off play action, 17 to 20. It's not bad. It's not bad, man. Again, I thought that his numbers would have looked even better if not for the dropped house call from Mike Matthews. And again, I said this on Saturday night, and we'll kind of end here because I'm running out of time. It's unfortunate. Chris Brazzell entered the day. I need to go check the stats here. I think he's still leading the nation in touchdown receptions. I need to go double check. He's got 7 on the year. Should have had 8. In real time, I'm sitting up there, and I'm like, oh, that's offensive pass interference. Yep, there's the flag. Replay? Nuh-uh. That was not offensive pass interference. That was a bad call. It was a bad call, and what made it worse is the official well away from the play threw the flag, not the one that was sitting on top of the official that was, I think it was the bag judge, threw the flag. The bag judge threw the flag. Like, what are you doing? Why not the official that's right on top of the action? He didn't throw the flag. I thought that was unfortunate because it cost Tennessee a touchdown. It did. Josh Heupel asked him in a post-game press conference. He said, that will be an interesting play to go back and look at. He said he was given no explanation for it. So I thought that was a bad call. Thought that was a really, really bad call. And again, would have increased these numbers. But still, I mean, Joey Aguilar in a game where he did not play bad, okay? But a game where I thought he was inconsistent at times, specifically the fourth quarter leading up to that last drive. He still threw for 335. A touchdown, ran for a touchdown. I mean, again, like, dude, he is good, and he's really, really good in the system. Tennessee had 466 yards of total offense. Tennessee was 5 of 14 on third downs. Mississippi State was 8 of 19. Tennessee ran for 131. Tennessee didn't run the football consistently well enough, and that's kind of been an issue against some SEC opponents, and that's something we can talk about this week. That 25-yard overtime run for Sean Bishop really helps that number, as did the 27-yard pop for Star Thomas in the fourth quarter against Georgia. So we got plenty to talk about this week. It is a bye week, but those are some of my Monday thoughts after the rewatch, after diving into that football game. End of the day, I said this on Saturday night, and I'll say it again. Don't apologize for winning a football game. It's hard to win football games on the road in this league. Tennessee, to its credit, like Georgia might have came into Neyland and stole one. Tennessee might have stole one in Starkville, okay? But Tennessee earned that one because it made plays down the stretch. Appreciate you guys for being here. Don't forget to send in those mailbag questions at _Cainer, at Locked On Vols. Appreciate you guys as always. We'll do it again tomorrow. This is Locked On Vols.